Established in May 1973 by the head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, as a vehicle for, that's the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, as a vehicle for national integration at the end of the Civil War, the National Youth Service Corps is 50. Now, as one of the few national institutions that has struggled to abide by its original objective, the scheme has served as a veritable agency of national integration in the past 5 decades. By availing less privileged states of quality manpower, the NYSC has made significant contributions to the development of our country. Now, from using corps members for enumeration work during the national population census, presiding officers during the conduct of national elections, and deployment of routine immunization, the NYSC has partnered with other organizations for the good of the country. Now, this morning on Daybreak, we'll be focusing on 50 years of NYSC, fostering Nigeria's unity and cohesion. And to discuss this topic, we have the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Yusha'u Dogara Ahmed, who will be joining us virtually via Zoom. And, thank you so much. Good morning, Brigadier General, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, General. I hope you can hear us.
Yeah, good morning. I can hear you.
Thank you very much, General, and for finding time to share part of your 50 years anniversary celebration with viewers on Trust TV. Can you...
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It has been a 50 years of very eventful activities, as enumerated in our opening statement, of how the NYSC had to partner several key agencies of government to deliver on several national mandates, from immunization to the last elections, as evident, where you deployed over 200,000 corps members. Given this evolution in the last 50 years, there had been several calls from several quarters about the need for the NYSC to transform, and some of them saying that, in fact, it has outlived its usefulness, others calling for the service to become voluntary. What are your opening perspective to some of the calls for the reform of the NYSC as it currently is?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again, viewers. Good morning. It is important to say here that today, 22nd May 2023, is exactly the day NYSC was formed in 1973. So today we are 50 years old. And in any organization, anywhere, the need to transform and to always adopt to changes is necessary. We cannot continue to do or live in the old ways. Definitely, the need to transform is definitely the best way to go about. And on the issue of scrapping the scheme or making it voluntary, these are people's opinion. And, individuals are entitled to their opinion. It depends on what they are looking at. But I think from this celebration of anniversary that we had, you will see that generally the majority of the view that NYSC should continue because of the important things, some of the giant strides we have so far made. So I think by and large, what is most important here, I think, is to make some changes, to make some improvement in our operations, and I think we are good to go. So the issue of making it or scrapping it, I think, does not even arise. Or the issue of making it voluntary. I think the best way is to continue with the scheme and continue to improve on what we have been doing. And we so doing, we will see and we will reap more advantage of the scheme than ever before. And we are ready to do that. And there are a lot of things that we have said on our agenda to improve on what we have been doing before.
All right, General, can you give us an idea of some of those things that you actually set on your agenda to be able to improve the NYSC? Because some quarters seem to believe that it is still not perfect and a lot of reform needs to actually, be done to be able to get it to where it's supposed to be.
Well, for us in NYSC, we intend to improve some of our ventures, particularly the agricultural setup. We have a lot of farms in NYSC that are manned and controlled by NYSC, and we're into partnership with some renowned organizations. We intend to vigorously carry out some improvement on the agricultural sector in such a way that we don't have to rely on any of our needs outside the scheme. By the time we go into this reformation or improvement, you will discover we're thinking that very soon we'll start feeding the core members from what we produce in our farms. We have various farms, and I think by the time we improve on it, we should be able to feed the core members across the country without even going to the market to buy any foodstuff or anything that we require. You may be aware that already some of the states we produce our water, we don't buy water anymore. We produce our bread, we don't buy bread, and we're in collaboration, we produce rice and some other foodstuff. Up to Gari, some of the states we no longer buy. What we intend to do is to enhance and to improve on this agricultural production so that we become self-sufficient and if possible even sell out the world apart from taking care of ourselves. That is on the part of agriculture. The skill acquisition and entrepreneurship development SAID, we intend to review our curriculum to capture most of the program with the view of meeting all the best practice in the international best practice. By the time these core members get out of the camp, by the time they finish their service, they should be able to become job providers instead of remaining as job seekers. Our intention is to vigorously improve, and also the moment we have enough funds, we intend to give more training in the skill acquisition side so that these core members become self-reliant. As evident, you have seen in the past 7 days, 7 days that we've been showcasing what these core members are doing. So we intend to improve and be able to take the scheme forward in terms of skill acquisition so that by the time we review this curriculum, these young men and women will be able to do better and enhance their ability to stand on their own.
All right, General.
As it is now, we have ventures, NYSC ventures. These NYSC ventures produce certain items that presently we have the garment industry factory where we sew our uniform by ourselves. We do all that, and just as I've told you, we produce our water, our bread, and the rest. So the aim of this is to generate revenue. As it is today, unlike few years back, in the recent time, we contribute to the revenue of the nation, because some of these some of these ventures, by the time we have some profit, we normally remit to the federal government account. Then the ICT, the ICT rule the world today. If you want to make money, you want to improve everything that you do, definitely you have to go through the IT. So we're improving our IT stand. As it is today, we're in collaboration with NIDA and some other renowned ICT industry. As it is today, we have collaborated with NIDA, and they have trained over 100,000 core members across the nation. The intention, based on our collaboration today, is that in each of the states, NIDA will train not less than 100,000 per state at the end of the training.
All right.
These
Okay, General.
individuals will be able to become sustainable and be able to become self-reliant and be able to do something that can
General.
do something better for the country.
All right, General, I hear you and all of the laudable projects that you seem to have enumerated, especially as it will make most of the core members self-reliant instead of going out to look for jobs. But I am particularly concerned, and I'm sure so many other Nigerians are, on living up to the initial mandate of setting up the NYSC. It was to heal from the civil war. If you follow the trajectory and some of the public languages that accompanied the just concluded elections, it showed clearly that the fibers of this country have not been fully mended. There is still so much bitterness, especially because we saw candidates from all the major ethnic group. We saw people aligning and wanting to trust only people from their side of the divide, which showed clearly that there's still so much work to be done. From the kind of things we see at the NYSC, people influencing their posting, people refusing to serve in certain parts of the country, some in fact even serving in the same place where they were born, where they originate from, where they went to school. What are you doing, especially within your time, to ensure that we get people to really appreciate the vast nature of this country, the diverse nature of our culture, people, and all of that? Which were the things that people who put this service in place had thought of at the point of creation?
Well, that is a very good question, and that is a work that you and I need to do as Nigerians, not only for NYSC alone, but all of us have a role to play. But I tell you, we in NYSC, we make it possible as much as possible to sensitize these core members in the camp. Whenever they come to the camp, we try to encourage them to serve in places other than their own. But don't forget, the people asking for relocation or for one reason or the other, some of their reasons are genuine reasons. Some of them mostly are married women, which the team have taken care of. So you cannot allow a married woman to separate her from her husband. So we allow such kind of relocation. And in some cases, there are cases, elements that you cannot insist that somebody should go to a different part of the country to go and serve. And altogether, if you look at the fraction of the people relocating, they are not much. Consider the number, the hundreds of thousands of the people that go to the places where you send it. And I bet you they don't refuse, but either they seek genuinely for relocation. And if you look at the generator of the request, we oblige. So it is a work for you and everybody, for all Nigerians, to continue to sensitize, and also, particularly you, the press, you have a great role to play to ensure that these parents allow their children to serve in places other than their own. We have a great advantage to gain from that. And I think, again, most of these young Nigerians are always ready to serve in places other than their own, except for some of the reasons I just enumerated. But we'll continue. It is a work in progress. We'll continue to sensitize these people. And anytime I visit the camp, I try to talk to the core members. After talking, you will clearly see in their faces, they show that kind of expression that, yes, we are ready to remain. I told them, I was a core member once upon a time. So I intended to relocate. For one reason or the other, I did not relocate. And I've told them my experience, how I stayed and served in the place where I served. I shared my experience with them. I told them, it is a kind of a destiny where you are posted. You did not have a discussion with anybody to post you where you are. So do your best and give the best you can. You will have a lot of things to learn from other people's culture. And I think it is a work in progress. We continue to sensitize individuals and the parents. And I think the press, when we join hands together, this will continue. Okay. If you think that we have not achieved so much, you can imagine if the NYSC is not there at all. And I believe it is then that you know that nothing has been done. But with this, people, you may not understand how much we have actually achieved. But a lot has been achieved.
All right. And talking about how much you have achieved, when the NYSC got off 1973, 1974, you had only about 6 universities with about 17,000 core members that you had to mobilize across the country. Today, we are talking about 1.8 million graduates, about 254 public and private universities. In fact, just last week, the Federal Executive Council approved another 37 universities. Do you have the resources to continue to engage over 1.8 million graduates in a year? What you get currently, is this sufficient to carry out some of the programs that you have talked about, some of those loud initiatives you think would help you achieve your mandate as encapsulated in the act setting up the NYSC?
Well, fund is always a problem to any meaningful organization. But to say the fund is self-sufficient and enough, it does not even arise. We are presently making use of the literature that we have, making judicious use of what we have, and I think we're achieving results. If you listen to some of the team challenges that we mentioned, funds is part of the challenges that we have presently. However, we will continue to solicit for the signing of the NYSC Trust Fund. That will give us advantage of having a little bit more funds to at least face the problem head on. But I think what we have, we're making good use of it and judicious use of what we have, and we're achieving a result. But however, fund has always remained a challenge. But I think with the signing of the trust fund, we will get it better.
All right, General. I seem to remember that there was a conversation, that the NYSC should actually form the basis of a compulsory military service scheme. Now, are you of the opinion as well, or do you agree with the proposition that, core members should serve in the military for some years after graduation?
Well, I told you, I said some of this earlier on. These are some of the public view and opinion, and the people talking or discussing such issues, they must have their own argument, and the people who are against it, they may have their own argument. Because the essence of coming to serve, particularly the training we give them in the camp, is citizen and discipline and leadership training, is quite different with the military training, except if you change the curriculum and start thinking of giving military training altogether. Otherwise, I think for now, maybe there should be a kind of public, let me say, we should resort back to the act that established the NYSC. What is the essence of establishing the NYSC? What are the objective there stated? What are the limits? By the time you go to the act, you will be able to see, except if there is a kind of a reform. Fine. Otherwise, I think the opinion of people is all these opinions are welcome. But then, until when something is done to reform the act, and we can see the superior argument before we can think of what next to do.
All right, General. Intending coppers, if you like, would not forgive me if I don't ask you these questions. I know you have complained about inadequate resources, and whatever it is you are giving out now has not been reviewed for some times, and even those who are on a larger salary are complaining about the contagion effect of inflation in our economy, and how one is beginning to wonder how much 38,000 thereabout will be able to do for a person at this moment. So welfare in two folds I would like you to address. Are you looking at any kind of what would I call it, a review of the current fee that is paid to graduates to serve in these places? That's one leg of my question. The second leg, are you thinking of some kind of differential reward system that would then encourage people to serve in places that naturally they don't want to go, to offset for some of the difficulties that comes with serving in those remote locations? And the third leg, which are all associated, by the way, is that your predecessors visited some of the camps of the NYSC and saw that the conditions of those camps are, even for the rearing of animals, are nothing to write home about. Are you in some kind of discussion with states to see the need to provide habitable camps for core members as a way of even creating an impression that they will be better taken care of should they choose to settle in those kind of places?
Well, if I have listened to your question carefully, I think it's a kind of tripod kind of questions. But let me start with the last one so that I don't forget. Anyone I forget, you can remind me, please.
That's fine.
The issue of having dilapidated camp, yes, we'll continue to work hard and improve and ensure that these camps are good. What we do, I always tell you, people when we discuss, the responsibility of NYSC generally is the responsibility of the 3 tiers of government. The federal government have their own responsibility, state have theirs, and the local government have theirs. And I think so far the federal government have been doing their own, the state government too have been doing their own, but we always urge and appeal to the state government to always do better. So the responsibility of ensuring a decent camp is it rests on the shoulder of the state government. For those that are yet to do much, we always try to appeal to them to please try to look at the plight of these children, the plight of these young Nigerians. They are going to the state to improve the welfare and socio-economic situation of the state. So it is the responsibility of the state government to improve their camp. Sometimes we come into some cases to also do something in the camp to ensure that these camps are habitable. So I think if somebody is equating the camps to places of animals, I think it's an overstatement. I don't think if you can equate where human beings are staying with what is it called, camp with where animals are staying. These are camps where young Nigerians are staying. Yes, we provide water, we provide light in most cases, and provide mattresses where they sleep with bed. And sometimes when some people speak, I think they speak, they over amplified what they say. But I think by and large, some of these camps need improvement. There's no doubt about that one. Then the issue of thinking of whether to improve the welfare is always in the forefront of our agenda, because welfare of the core members and even the staff has always been our concern. So we'll always be thinking of what we can do best to ensure that their welfare is taken care of. Welfare is not necessarily thinking of their allowances is being increased. You remember that the latest increment in the allowance is just last year, 2 years back, when the federal government increased the civil servant allowance, and the present government raised the allowance of the core members from 19,000 to 15,800 to 33,000. So we will continue with the opportunity on the same. We'll continue to speak on the welfare of the core members. That is why we're here. And I tell you, we have nothing to do that to ensure that their security and welfare is being taken care of. Then the issue of maybe you said people serving in the remote areas and those who are serving in the cities, it is even an advantage for you to serve in a remote area. There are a lot of advantages you start to benefit. So if you are thinking of giving remuneration or giving some certain advantage to those who are serving, it's something different from which form. We give them additional allowance or what kind of this. We treat our core members all together the same way. They are all core members and they're treated as core members. And I assure you, some of these states, not only the allowances that have been paid, don't forget that some of these states, they provide lodges for them, they provide accommodation for them. And on top of that one, they also give them some allowance stipend from the state. I know of more than 20 states that give them stipend from the government corpus. Apart from that 3,000, some they give 10,000, some they give 15,000, depending on the state. So they encourage the government, and we continue to speak to the governors to please encourage these children. They are our children. We are part and parcel of them. Some of us are supposed to serve before now, and we know what it is. So I think the best we can do is to continue to sensitize the government, the 3 tiers, to do whatever that it takes to ensure that these children are comfortable and they give the best wherever they are posted.
All right, General. So one more question. Do you subscribe, given the volumes of youths that are coming out from the universities and what the numbers will become in the years to come, do you subscribe that the service be voluntary, or you subscribe to those other school of thought who are even saying that if possible the service should be extended to 2 years? What in some of these suggestions do you think that the core is likely to adopt as we move into the future?
Well, this is the first question I've answered earlier on. These are people's opinion and view. As for me, I think in this position, I may not be disposed to start taking which one is my view, but I think people are free to air their view and make their own opinion heard. So whatever the government that establishes the NYSC look at the superior argument, I think they're in a better position to look at that. Until then, when everybody is given the opportunity to come and make his opinion.
All right. You talked about the NYSC Trust Fund. I know as at the last check, it was with the House of Representatives. What does that trust fund seek to improve with regards to how, the welfare of the core as it is?
Well, the trust fund stands to benefit the core in such a way that it is a kind of fund that will come without going through the budgetary reason that we normally do. This is a set fund that will come directly from the consolidated account, and there will be more funding to the scheme. That is just why you hear that every time we talk about NYSC Trust Fund, NYSC Trust Fund. And by the time you have a little bit more fund, some of the improvement that you intend to carry on in the scheme, you will have a better opportunity because you will have more funding than ever before, especially in the skill acquisition and development area and some other areas that I've earlier mentioned.
All right, thank you so much, Brigadier General Yusha Udogara Ahmed, for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to us on NYSC at 50. And a hearty congratulations to you as well.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.